everybody. Welcome to Living the Life. We are going to have so much fun today because the spa girls are here. Doesn't that sound like fun? Doesn't it make you just want to
stop now?
Put a white fluffy robe on.
They are so much fun. We met them on the Living the Life cruise. Where is Louise? Is she like having a massage or something? Oh, there she is.
Here she comes.
Okay. We met them on the Living the Life cruise. They are a blast. Aren't they fun?
You know, I'm brushing you two. I just found two new best girlfriends.
Yes.
They do massages and nails.
You need a little leopard outfit there. She's got her collar pulled out of the cape. And her jewelry on, too.
Sorry. So what are we doing?
Well, we're going to talk about a makeover on cholesterol. But first, someone who does not need any makeover.
That's right.
Dr. Linder. Dr. Linder.
Dr. Linder.
It'd be so fun in this interview because we're going to talk about something that's kind of serious a little bit.
All of us are married and we all have kids. There's probably not a married couple in existence who doesn't have issues of difference at some point in their relationship. And yet, how we handle that can really have an impact on our children. Talk a little bit about how conflict between husband and wife can impact the child.
Well, it's really maybe surprising for people to hear this, but because, like you say, everybody has conflict, not unusual in marriages. It's how you deal with the conflict, even moderate levels of conflict. If it's not handled right, if they're not handled right, you know, the levels of conflict, if you don't deal with it correctly, it can create problems with your kid. It can create, one of the most important findings is sleep problems with your child.
Really?
And there's a study that's been done that the average child loses about 30 minutes of sleep a night when the parents are even engaging in moderate levels of conflict that isn't handled well.
Well, what do you mean by that? And I'm thinking about our house, and I have to say, sometimes we get a little loud. I mean, not
Loud
John and I, but like all of us. It's like, come down for dinner.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Loud. It's not the volume
It's
so
a
much.
loud
It's what you're doing. It's if you're belittling, if you're
down for
calling
dinner,
names.
you jerk.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. You can keep that part off. You're good. So it isn't necessarily violent. It's not. You know, a lot of people are passionate and they do that, but you got to be careful with the name calling, the belittling, making fun of somebody, and a lot of people do that without even thinking about it. And what we're finding out from the research is that it creates this difficulty in kids. They're emotionally upset and they don't sleep, and then they become irritable, and you wouldn't think about sleep as being one of the side effects.
Do the kids blame themselves? Because, you know, kids, you always hear them blaming themselves when parents go through divorce, something they feel like it's something they did. Do they feel like that's part of the cause?
No, not necessarily. If you think about that, the parents' marriage is sort of like this security bridge that a child has to the outside world. If this parents' marriage is really secure, then going out there and dealing with other people and other relationships is a lot easier, and there's a security you have. When there's a lot of tension in the marriage, or you're not dealing with conflict in a way that's healthy and good by, you know, calling names and doing those things, then kids feel insecure and they don't have confidence and they begin to question themselves. Maybe that's what you're getting at. And get a little anxious and fearful.
What's the right way? If you say that there's a right way to do it, I mean, we're all acknowledging that we all have moments of tension in a relationship.
And every marriage does.
Again, it's not the conflict. If you think about it, have you ever gone to a conflict resolution seminar? A lot of workplaces will have those because people don't know how to deal with conflict. There's a way of, you say what your issue is, and you keep it focused on the problem, not on the person. And so then you say it, then the other person says, so this is what I'm hearing. And then you say, what can we do? Here are some problem solutions, and you work it out.
Let me ask you something. I'm trying to think about a woman who's out there listening to us, though. And if you don't have your two partners engaging in this way, how then do you resolve a conflict? For example, if the woman or the man wants to deal this way, but then you've got a spouse who's not. Isn't.
Right. That's a great question, because then the charge to that couple is you got to get in and learn how to have these skills and work them together. Because interestingly too, you know, sometimes I get asked about, well, what about the silent treatment? Like my parents didn't really fight in front of us, but we knew that they were mad at each other and they were passive about it. Kids pick up on that. And again, the research shows that they know that they're secretly angry and they get bothered by that and affected by that, and they get depressed and they have negative feelings. So the plea really to parents, to any kind of marriage, is go to a conflict management class. You know, I've got this in my book. I've got how do you deal with conflict. Look at your style. There's biblical guidelines on how to deal with anger.
Often, Linda, the reason there's conflict in a marriage is because one person might be willing to resolve it and the other person is not. So you can't even get the other person to conflict resolution, much less a counselor.
I don't believe that, though. I don't believe that if you say to a couple that if you cannot learn to deal with a problem in a way that's healthy, your family's going to be affected.
Who's going to say that?
Well, I've said that to many people.
Well, I know, but I'm saying,
well, that's why we're doing this show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're doing this show, is then you have to maybe say to someone, you know, the way you deal with conflict around your kids is impacting the way your kids feel about themselves, and their emotional futures are affected, is what the research shows. So part of it is we got to get people understanding this is an important thing to pay attention to.
But you know, I hear what Terry is saying, and don't you think if there's one person who gets this, and then one person who might be abusive, verbally abusive, or just not get it, that it's incumbent then upon that one person to fight the right way?
Right, and to say to that person,
right way.
I'm not going to engage in this kind of fighting. I'm not going to do it. If you talk to me this way, if you deal with the problem this way, you can teach that spouse what to do.
And how about to find a way for your children to maybe get some help understanding what's appropriate and what's not?
Right, and that's why I would think it'd be good for families to go in and say, everybody has this.
World, I agree.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
right.
It's long-term effects for kids.
That's what I'm saying. You've got to, it's like looking at something like childhood obesity. In the long run, if you don't change your eating patterns, the kids are going to have problems. In the long run, if you don't deal with conflict in a healthy way, churches have seminars. You know, friends can help you. Find a couple. Find a couple who does it well and have them mentor you. Get a life coach who can work with you. Get a book. It's in my book. How do you fight well? It's in the Bible, Terry. How do you deal? You deal with someone in kindness and love, and you bring the issue to them. It's your attitude, an attitude of the heart, staying malleable and all that. So there are ways you can do it.
All right, well, there you go.
Okay. All right, I am listening to every word you're saying. And Dr. Linda has help for your marriage in her book. I Married You, Not Your Family.
I'm passionate about that.
Nine other myths. And you can find it on our website. That was great. Coming up, find out why grilled cheese sandwiches are not your friend. And stick around for the Spa Girls. It's going to be fun.